Welcome back to the battle between Thor versus Sabbac and who will win. Before we dive into the analysis, please remember to subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you very much. Thor Odinson is the embodiment of thunder and divine authority from Asgard in the Marvel Universe. He is the son of Odin, the supreme king of the Asgardian gods who holds the fate of the 9 realms. From his very first appearance, Thor has been portrayed as a legendary warrior carrying power far beyond that of ordinary beings, along with an indomitable fighting spirit that never bows to darkness. Thor is not only a god standing at the pinnacle of power, but also a warrior willing to place himself in danger to protect Earth. He is one of the founding members of the Avengers, a symbol of the belief that strength only truly has meaning when it is used to protect the weak. Each of Thor's battles is not merely a physical confrontation, but also an inner struggle between the responsibility of a god. The weapon most closely associated with Thor is the hammer Mjolnir, a sacred artifact that carries divine power and accepts only the worthy. When Thor raises Mjolnir, thunder roars and the sky trembles. It is not only a display of power, but also a vow to protect the order of the realms. Through every loss and sacrifice, Thor grows wiser, stronger, and deeper in character. The abilities and power of Thor Odinson are regarded as the pinnacle of divine might, combining the strength of an Asgardian god with the ancient essence of an elder god. His superhuman physical strength is nearly limitless. Thor can lift and control enormous masses. He once confronted and lifted the Midgard Serpent, a creature whose weight is equivalent to half of Earth. Every swing of Thor's arm carries the weight of thunder and the will of the gods. His endurance and immortality make him nearly indestructible. He can withstand direct attacks from the Celestials and still remain standing. Time leaves no mark on Thor's body. He does not age, does not fall ill, and possesses remarkable healing abilities after even the most brutal battles. In terms of speed and reflexes, Thor surpasses the limits of light in movement and combat. He senses and reacts to every attack almost instantly, creating an overwhelming advantage over his enemies. Thor can summon lightning, control storms, open portals between dimensions, and unleash the God Blast, a divine energy source with devastating destructive power. This is not merely strength, but the authority of a supreme god. Mjolnir is an extension of Thor's will, allowing him to fly at extreme speeds, attack from a distance, generate energy shields, and always return to his hand. Combined with centuries of combat experience, both unarmed and with weapons, Thor is not only powerful, but a perfect warrior, where strength and skill become one. The legendary defining battles of Thor Odinson are a series of trials where divine power is tested across countless confrontations on the scale of realms and the cosmos. One of the most celebrated feats is the moment Thor lifted the Midgard Serpent, the colossal creature that coils around Earth. The sight itself made all of space seem to tremble before the will of the god of thunder. In his contest of strength with Hercules, their hand-to-hand battle created shockwaves powerful enough to collapse landscapes and affect planetary orbits. Two symbols of strength collided, turning the fight into a true measure of power. With Loki, Thor has often stood at the boundary between family and duty. He stopped schemes that threatened Asgard, even when it meant destroying the Bifrost Bridge to prevent disaster from spreading. Each decision left emotional scars, but also forged his leadership. When facing Thanos and the Celestials, Thor survived cosmic power and answered with the God Blast, an energy capable of shifting the course of battle. He also wiped out armies of Sentinels and helped end the reign of Kang the Conqueror through relentless perseverance. In his pursuit across time against Gorr the God Butcher, Thor carried Mjolnir through the ages to protect gods who were being slaughtered. He not only saved the realms, but also cemented the image of a god of thunder willing to pay any price to preserve faith and life. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and turn on notifications to watch the newest videos as early as possible. Thank you very much. Now we will talk about Sabbac. Sabbac is the embodiment of dark power from hell in the universe. He does not exist in a fixed form, but is usually summoned through human hosts, such as Timothy Carnes or Ishmael Gregor. When the ritual is completed, darkness floods the host's soul, and Sabbac awakens with power far beyond mortal limits. His source of power comes from 6 ancient demons, including Satan, Aim, Belial, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Krates. His name is formed from these very entities as a curse engraved into the core of his existence. Each demon grants Sabbac a portion of its power, turning him into a living nightmare with terrifying physical strength, destructive magical abilities, and brutality unbound by morality or compassion. In a world where light and darkness constantly oppose one another, Sabbac is the eternal enemy of Shazam and Black Adam. If Shazam represents divine power and the ideal of protection, then Sabbac is the perfect opposite, symbolizing corruption and temptation. Their encounters are not merely clashes of strength, but conflicts between faith and destruction, between hope and despair. Sabbac is terrifying not only because of his raw power, but also because of his ability to manipulate humans. He exploits ambition, fear, and the hunger for power to lure his hosts onto a path with no return. Each time he appears, Sabbac serves as a warning that when humanity turns away from the light, darkness will answer with ruthless strength. The power of Sabbac is immense superhuman strength granted by Satan. With a single strike, he can crush massive objects and has faced Black Adam directly many times without being overwhelmed. Every blow carries the pressure of hell, striking both the body and eroding the will of his opponent. Sabbac's endurance and regenerative ability place him nearly beyond the concept of life and death. He does not tire, does not age, and can rapidly regenerate after fatal wounds. Most physical damage becomes meaningless against a body forged by hellish energy. In terms of speed and reflexes, Sabbac moves at supersonic levels and reacts instantly in combat. This allows him to overwhelm enemies with relentless chains of attacks, leaving no opportunity for counterattack. The most distinctive trait of Sabbac is his control over hellfire. He can unleash seas of flame, breathe fire, and create explosions that incinerate everything in his path. In addition, he wields dark magic to summon undead, control lightning, shapeshift, and manipulate energy at will. With combat skills sharpened by demonic instinct, Sabbac relies not only on brute force, but also on breaking the spirit of his opponents. Every battle against him is a trial where fear is pushed to its extreme, and only those with iron will, such as Shazam, can stand firm against the darkness known as Sabbac. The confrontations that carve Sabbac's reputation often unfold on the scale of earth and hell. Each time he appears, he spreads chaos and forces heroes to unite if they hope to stand against his dark power. He once overwhelmed the Justice Society with brute strength and hellish magic. His relentless assaults left Hawkman reeling, forcing Atom Smasher and Cyclone to strain to hold the line. Even Dr. Fate, with his ancient wisdom, could only maintain balance for a brief moment. Sabbac is not a singular threat, but a storm capable of swallowing an elite team whole. When facing Black Adam, Sabbac charged into a fierce duel where hellfire and demonic power erupted. He once gained the early advantage, pushing his opponent into a defensive stance and turning the sky into a sea of flames. At the same time, Sabbac summoned legions of undead that surged through cities, spreading terror on a massive scale and plunging civilians into despair. Against the Shazam family, Sabbac displayed brutality by defeating Mary Marvel in a one-on-one confrontation. Only when the entire family united did the power of light become enough to subdue him. The peak of his ambition came when Sabbac infiltrated the Rock of Eternity to seize control of its ancient power source. He even increased his size, transforming himself into a living fortress, fueled by hellish strength. These battles with Sabbac stand as symbols of darkness, where only faith and unity can confront and overcome it. When the confrontation between Thor Odinson and Sabbac begins, the disparity is revealed almost immediately in the scale of their feats. Thor has repeatedly entered battles of cosmic magnitude, where the existence of entire realms was at stake. Lifting the Midgard Serpent or standing firm against the attacks of the Celestials is not merely a display of physical strength, but proof of divine power that transcends planetary limits. Meanwhile, Sabbac's achievements are primarily centered on Earth or Hell, with fierce battles that still remain within a lower scope, especially in his confrontations with Black Adam. By nature, the energy Thor commands is lightning and pure divine power. This source of energy is not only destructive but also capable of suppressing and neutralizing dark energies. Sabbac's hellfire, though ferocious, is not something Thor has never faced before. Through countless battles against dark gods and ancient monsters, Thor has proven his ability to stand firm against the darkest forms of energy. Thor's advantage lies in combat experience. Centuries of warfare have forged him into a perfect warrior who is both powerful and composed. Every strike is accompanied by strategy and absolute control. In addition, Mjolnir is not merely a weapon but a symbol of worthiness that allows Thor to travel between realms and unleash divine energy at a level that Sabbac can hardly match. Sabbac is a formidable embodiment of darkness and destruction on a planetary scale. But Thor is a god who has stood before the fate of the entire universe. The combination of divine strength, unparalleled experience, and Mjolnir gives Thor a clear advantage in nearly every aspect of the confrontation. Sabbac can generate significant pressure through dark magic and hellfire. Those relentless assaults are powerful enough to shake space itself and test the will of any hero. However, Thor is no stranger to darkness. He has faced forces far more ancient and far more dangerous. His endurance and ever-escalating power at a cosmic level allow him to withstand even the most destructive blows. When Thor unleashes the God Blast, the tide of battle will completely shift. This divine energy is not only devastating in raw power, but also directly suppresses demonic strength. Sabbac's hellfire may burn cities, but before lightning infused with the will of an Asgardian god, it gradually becomes neutralized. Each bolt of lightning strikes not only the body, but also disrupts the stability of dark energy itself. Thor grows increasingly dominant as the battle continues, while Sabbac relies heavily on his initial burst of fury. As the fight drags on, the advantage will firmly tilt toward the god of thunder. In the end, with divine power, centuries of experience, and an unyielding will, Thor will be the one left standing, affirming that victory is the inevitable outcome. What do you think about this battle? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all very much.